All right. Let's see. We are live. Yep, we're good. Hopefully, this is a last minute type thing. I think probably a lot of you watched the end of that World Series and are a little frustrated. I know I am. Watching some of our guys win it was cool, but at the same time, why wasn't that the Dodgers in there? I think as we look at some of these things, we and I tweeted it out. Let's see, do I have this up here? Let's see. See, it says, I tweeted this. My sense is that this postseason has really burned a lot of trust in Dodgers management from the fans. It'll be interesting to see where that feeling is by spring training. I just wonder. We've got 3 of the last 5 seasons have been just terrible, terrible disappointments. We've seen the Dodgers go out 5 games to the Nationals, 94 wins in 2019 with terrible management decisions. Got to be honest with you. Hey, Michael, welcome aboard. Thank you first. And then we saw 2022 against the Padres. The bleeding dry Padres. They had to take out a $50 million loan to make their commitments in September. Yeah, Corey is legit. The Dodgers lost to them last year. Now they get swept by the Diamondbacks. 84 win team. 84 win team. I'm getting tired of this. They're built for the regular season, but we're not for October. What's the point? I'm kind of tired of the crapshoot thing. I think there does need to be some type of modification to the way they're doing things. They talked about organizational failure when they got eliminated. I agree. Heavy elimination or organizational failure on that team. It was, that's not it, right, folks? Things need to change. The offseason started now. Guys will be free agents. All these guys are going to start being free agents tomorrow in the morning. They can't sign anyone, I think, for qualifying offers. I think it's a week, 10 days, or something like that. I haven't even looked. I'll look at that later. Then you can't sign with another team until after the qualifying offers are done. So it's at the same time. Last year, the Dodgers did a lot of different things in the offseason. They let Trey Turner left. He was going to leave. Tyler Anderson left. He got his money, but he lost his career again. Justin Turner left. This year there's going to be some guys that leave. Urias will be gone, obviously. Trevor Bauer's a free agent. Dodgers have released him anyway, but he would have been a free agent anyway. JD Martinez, Clayton Kershaw. There's a few, David Peralta, Jason Hayward. I got to be honest. I'm not interested in any of those guys right now. I'd like Kershaw back just for the sentimental reasons. And I think he can help a little bit, but he's got to be healthy. Cannot afford to be giving away playoff games, playoff series, because we got to play the injured guys. David Peralta playing injured, even though he did have a double. Clayton Kershaw was not even close to 100%. Everything was off. We knew that. We saw it this season. The Dodgers knew that, going into the trade season, right? They ended up with Lance Lynn and Ryan Yarbrough. Just don't think that was enough, folks. It wasn't. Tommy Pham wanted to be there. Jordan Montgomery obviously helped the Dodgers out during the season, or they helped get them there, and the Dodgers just didn't want to do it. They're going to have to make some moves. They have a plethora I'm gonna actually just leave this here. We just have to wear it. Right there, Mr. Steal Yo Girl, Corey Seager, right there. Former Dodger, future Ranger Hall of Famer. What a postseason! He's had really 2 good postseasons in his career. 2017 he was okay, or 2018 was hurt. 2019 was bad. 2020 was hot. 2021 not so good. 2022 didn't even make the playoffs. 2023 was on fire. So, and let's, I'm going to go back to the 2020 World Series, which I value as highly as anything in terms of baseball stuff, with what that team went through, with all the baseball we all went through. But in all honesty, Corey had probably the best statistics, but he did a lot of his damage in games that they lost. It's not necessarily his fault, but Mookie Betts probably contributed more during those wins. Let's see. 5 days and counting. Let's go. Line them up. Yamamoto, come on down. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I can't even say his first name right now. I'm just kind of a little tired, like I said, last minute type thing. But yeah, let's get some dudes. I'm just trying to see what's going on and see if there's anything in the Twitterverse that's worth even talking about. We got Seager, of course. Bruce Bochy, what a freaking legend. What an absolute legend. Dave Roberts could be there if he would stop being all sentimental. Playing with his guys, letting, injured Justin Turner and Chris Taylor play all last year during the playoffs when they shouldn't have been there. Letting, let's see, is that out of whack? I'm trying to see. Oh, no, it's something else. Real quick, does it sound good? Because I know last time I had some feedback. So hopefully that's not the case. Let's see. It's time, isn't it? Yes, we are right here.
Emotional damage.
We're suffering from emotional damage, that's for sure. Let me know if that came through. It doesn't show up on my sound, but just trying to add a little extra flair to it. I'm going to try to add some more things to it. Oh, by the way, happy, for those who celebrate, happy Mariah Carey Day. She came out of hibernation for Christmas season. She is a queen of Christmas, that's for sure. I'm a huge Christmas fan, so looking forward to all things Mariah, but mostly the rest of the season. Like I say, the king of Christmas is Jesus, the queen is Mariah. Not that that's like Mary, though, so we'll leave that alone. But, all right, back at it. Yeah, emotional damage. This team causes emotional damage, that's for sure. I think if you feel like I am, I'm kind of pissed. Like I said, watching the end of that, going, Dodgers better than these teams. But didn't show it. Just didn't show it when it mattered. Regular season was great. It was a great regular season. They did some great work. And then some of those decisions, why didn't Ryan Pepio pitch? Why did they go with Lance Lynn? Why did they go with Clayton Kershaw? Bobby Miller should have been the first out. Would have been actually less pressure on him. But, Clayton Kershaw had nothing. Gave up the 6 runs. The series was over at that point. You saw the team die, including the manager. Bruce Bochy doesn't do that. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Bruce Bochy does not do that type of stuff. Diamondbacks fell apart. I was kind of rooting for them because I wasn't ready for it to be over. Yeah. I was ready. I mean, it's time. I was rooting for the Rangers. I mean, it's got 5 former Dodgers. I am a fan of Bochy, despite the fact he was a Giant. He was a Poway guy. I actually sat next to him at a Costco. Didn't say anything to him. I was too scared to. It was back in the day. Yeah, Dodgers ran well to win in the regular season, but they don't run it to win in October. They can, though. So 2017, they had a great team. That team was a World Series winning team, in my opinion. Quite a few bad decisions by Doc. We also know what really happened with the cheating. Dodgers win that in 6 um, without the cheating. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. They were the best team, and despite they should have won it. They could have even won Game 7. But we all know what happened there in that whole thing. 2018, they were not the best team. The Red Sox were the best team. 2019, that team El Foldo. 2020, the team did everything that we were hoping that they would do. They were on fire. They were pissed off because of what happened with the findings from the World Series from 2017. They were on a mission because they knew that a lot of those guys would be leaving. So we had that. Then we had they were just destined to win that year, and the bullpen was pretty close to. I mean, he was really good, and Doc managed well. He in the last 2 games of that World Series, he managed really well. Really did his best. That was his best managing he's done, and I thought he would have taken another leap. He put Kenley down. He said, I don't trust this guy. He didn't say it out loud, but he didn't. He didn't trust him. And he adapted. But then he goes right back to stuff. 2021, the team ran it. I thought the team was built for October. They fell apart. Let's just to go through it again. Kershaw went down. Muncy went down. This is before the playoffs even started. A little bit of mismanagement by Roberts ended up with Scherzer having to start or close a game, which really started impacting things. Buehler was brought in on 3 days rest twice, which wrecked him. Those are all, that's not just Doc. That's overall management decision. And so there was just a bunch of, that was a mess. And everyone got hurt. JT got hurt. Scherzer ended up dying basically with his arm. It all fell apart. But that team was built. That team was built to win, and I thought they could have won, but it just didn't quite happen there. And then 2022 and 2023, they just fell apart. Absolutely fell apart. Hey, Cody. Hey, thanks. Hey, everyone check out Cody also on Bleed Lows and Dodgers Beat, right, Cody? I'm playing the Giants in the LDS, took all the energy from the team. And I'm going to say it, man. I think that 2021 Giants team cheated. I just do. There's no freaking way. Let's see. Sean says, doesn't seem like Freeman cleared out the guys with attitude or fire from Coletti. It does seem like he cleared out the guy with fire. Yeah, but none of those guys were winners either. Now we have a bunch of nice guys, but not enough grit. Or am I wrong? It's a bit of both. You need a Tommy Pham. Those types of guys. The Chase Utleys, right? Just to teach, to really lead. There needs to be some leaders. Mookie and Freddie are great players, but they're not leaders. Now, if you look at the podcast where we talked about Shohei, Ryan Fowler was talking about, he thinks, and he says that Shohei is that type of guy, that he can handle all that stuff. And we saw him in the WBC, right? He stepped it up. Jock was a winner. Absolutely, Michael. Absolutely. Jock has something in him. It would be nice to keep some of our guys. Some of the guys that get developed. I know that, eventually they've got to leave. I know that, the whole Corey thing, I'm just going to say it. For all the money that was there, even if the money was equal, I'm not going to say that, if the Dodgers would have went up to the $400 million, I think he would have gone there because Boris would have liked that number to match the Texas taxes. I think he wanted to get out of LA. I just think so. I don't think he's not an LA guy. He's a North Carolina guy. And, I went to North Carolina a few weeks ago. I'm walking, we're there in Charlotte on Sunday. not one homeless, not one piece of trash. Compare that to what we have in California here. San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Um, yeah, it's really a balance. It seems we lack in one clear area. Yeah, I mean, I would say it is that it's. I think that clear area is that unknown, that sixth sense of grit. Um, you know, fire, willing to run over your mom to score a run. Um, Montgomery payday just went up. Yeah, I would like to have Montgomery, and he would have been a really good get. I'm not fired up about getting him in the off season. I want to get some younger guys, and I'm willing to get Corbin Burns for 1 year, let him go as a free agent. That's a classic Dodger thing, and maybe they do re-sign him. I mean, he's from Bakersfield. And so maybe he would stick around, but I think he's a Boris guy too. So I think they just have to go. They're not a fan of big, long contracts. Yamamoto, though. What do y'all think? Should we get Yamamoto? What are you giving him? They're saying, I'm hearing 7 years, 200. The guy will steal a base and bunt a man over is what we'd like to see. Yeah, we need someone who's willing to do whatever other than just go up, flail, and either hit that fly ball or strike out. We saw, tonight, Corey Seager got 2 hits to the left side. Get the bat on the ball. And we know Freddie can do that. That's what's frustrating, But I just think they folded. And I think that part of that has to go on management, the guys that are running the team. Yeah, I saw that. I saw the things, Michael, about Yamamoto in the postseason. He'd fit, like people said, he'd fit right in, wouldn't he? Yeah. He only 33 at the end. Yeah, so I think if you're gonna go big on a pitcher, it's got to be Yamamoto. Just my opinion on that. Doug McCain had a good thing comparing that. I can't remember the lefty's name. Gosh darn it. Check out Dodgers Nation. Doug McCain talks about one Japanese lefty, and then compares them to Yamamoto. And really, one of the things was Yamamoto gave up only 2 home runs all year. So that's a positive. Now it's a little different. I would still say that Japanese ball is not Major League ball, but it's getting closer and closer, isn't it? And so it's like having a guy at AAA that's really good, and maybe he's ready. Doesn't mean he's going to come in and win a ton of games. But, look what Senga did. He did really well with the Mets. Would have been nice to have him, huh? Dodgers got to make some moves. They're going to have to give some money to pitching. I'm going to be honest. I don't want Snell. I just don't. I don't think he's that type of guy. He can be really good, but I'm just not a fan. I think he still would rather be playing video games. I see him going to Seattle. He's from up there, or I can see the Giants going in on him. You got Chapman, the third baseman. I think it's got to be changes. Now, one of the questions: what do y'all think? Do you think Mookie stays at second? I'm just not a big fan of bringing Hayward back right now. I get the whole, he was a good voice. Well, it did really well, didn't it? I'm going to be straight up. Those guys that were brought in as character guys, yeah, they're good dudes and everything, but the team is 3 games and a barbecue. That was embarrassing. I don't care the Diamondbacks made the World Series. They won 84 games, and they beat the Phillies, who were another wild card team. They didn't really, the Dodgers had a path. Jeez, they had a path. So I think the Dodgers really need to go. They got to mix in the young guys. I think Lux is the shortstop next year, and if not, he's at second. I think there's some. We need guys you don't platoon. Amen. If you look at the 2020 Dodgers, there was only one platoon really, and that was in left with Jock and Pollock. And they moved around some of the things with DH because they put Smith sometimes at DH when Barnes caught. And they'd mix those things around, but in general, they had a DH that year. There was 10 guys that played mostly, and that was including sometimes Smith would be catcher. That means maybe Pollock or Jock would be the DH with the other one in left. They were a solid team all the way around, right? You had Justin at third, and then flipping Corey. And who we have? Taylor also plays some left. Gosh darn! We had Kike and Taylor that would play second. I think I'm missing somebody in there. Of course, we had Max at first. That was one of his best. 2019 was his best year, and then 2021 was really good too. Then Will was the catcher, and then center field was Cody, and right was Mookie. So it was a real solid team. And yeah, I think the team is so much better when you're not consistently going, oh, Doc's gonna pinch hit for somebody in the fifth inning. Whenever he does that, man, it always just seems like they're always doomed for extra innings at that point. And then he's out of pinch hitters, which he pulled off, seemed like a few times in 2021. I mean, we talk about, the Giants taking that. The Dodgers, they had a couple of games against the Padres where Clayton Kershaw's batting in the 10th inning, or, guys like Peters or Raley who couldn't do it. None of those guys could do a darn thing that year. And they couldn't push one run in with bases loaded. And they didn't know how to lay down a bunt or anything like that. I mean, it was insane. But Doc really he plays for 9 innings. He's not thinking. He's not thinking about 3 innings later and things like that. I think sometimes you do got to take a shot. I mean, if you got, you're down by a run and you got the bases loaded, no outs, and you got a really good left-hander out there, and you got Jock Peterson up. Okay, pinch hit for him. Go with Pollock. But in general, you want to keep your lineup in at least through the 7th inning. That way you can strategically use your batters in the 9th, because still a lot of managers are still going, hey, I got my closer and my 8th inning guy, and those are their toughest guys. And you want to make sure you have your best guys, your hitters available. But yeah, so Friedman season, huh? It's time for him really. I mean, let's be honest. I think we've all lost a lot of good vibes with management, with the Dodgers in general, management, with some of our players. We see, Corey doing what he's doing. And, yeah, what can you say? Good for Corey. One of my all-time favorite Dodgers. It sucks because my 3 favorite Dodgers over the last few years have been Corey, who I saw in his debut, Julio, who I saw in his debut in New York, and then Andrew Toles. And, we've seen what's on with Julio. We've seen, Andrew really struggling with mental issues, and Corey's gone. So at least Corey's healthy and is by all accounts, a good human being. My dream for 2024, Muncy DH versus righties, and Will Smith getting some reps at third base DH. Yeah, I wish they'd do that, man. I wish that they would do, and I want to throw in something. I want to see Michael Busch getting some reps in left field. See if he can do it. If not, then you can go get a left fielder. There was a lot of left field options in July. One of them was Tommy Pham. Kike was there. So there's always some thump you can get for left field and not have to pay too much. But give Michael Busch a shot out there. I don't want to see Peralta back. And this is nothing personal, and I don't think they're bad players. I just don't want to see him back. I think that we have to get the mix. Let's get the mix of that Dodger blood coming through, developed. Hopefully we stick around, get some of these guys signed, get Will Smith signed, look at extend Outman. Lock these guys up for a bit. You can get them now. But Pepio's too late because he's got Boros. But they still have Pepio for. No, it's probably 5 more years. I think he got his full year in. Yep, Tyler O'Neill. We talked about him, didn't we? About a week ago. Yeah, Tyler O'Neill. Bring that guy in. Make some moves. Buy low on some of these guys, but also go high on the guys that deserve it. If you need to give up one of your right-handed pitchers, not named Bobby Miller or Ryan Pepio, those are my two untouchables right now. Anyone else? Any of the other right-handers, plus a catcher, plus something else. Gonsolin, let's see. 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, 24. After 25, Gonsolin's a free agent. And he has a contract for next year. I'm wondering, yeah. Well, no, he does have a contract next year, so I think it's for $3 million. So he'll get that. I wonder if they'll do something about trying to hide him with the whole 40-man roster deal. Because, both May and Gonsolin immediately go on the 60-day next year. I do think they need to, let's reduce the number of guys that need to be on the 60-day DL or IL. Go get guys that are, that have a better track record of being healthy. I think, despite the fact that Buehler's going to stay at least this next year, but after that, I don't know. I think I would try to work something out with Buehler. I hope they do. I think Buehler likes it here. I think the Dodgers really need him. I would try to lock him up now, give him an incentive-based contract, cover him for 2025. Make sure he's got some coverage there, but say, hey, let's go 2024 through 2027 with some incentives. I think they've gotten good deals from him, and I think maybe they owe him back. Yeah, we need Walker Buehler. There's no doubt. He is our ace when he's healthy. I mean, hopefully him and Bobby Miller together with Pepio going, I think it'd be great. So I think the Dodgers do some weird stuff. I do think they need to make some changes. I think there's it's just you do have to classify, or innings gonna be limited. That's a good question with Buehler. Yeah, and I think just the results of Tommy John it's gonna give him half a season. So they better be ready to have another guy ready to go. Or a girl, she's better. I haven't seen it yet, but you never know. But if a player has Boras as their agent, just assume they're going to be a free agent. They're probably going to leave. That's just the way it is with him. Not saying the Dodgers won't sign a Boras guy. I mean, JD Martinez was a Boras guy. And JD's going to cash in. Good for him. I wouldn't mind him back, but I'd kind of hoping there's even a bigger gentleman that plays there and gets a lot more money. Or it's Muncy, or Muncy gets some time there. I really would like to see the Dodgers move off Muncy at third. Even if he has to play second next year, I think he's more comfortable there. Even though with the shift rules, it's a little different, but. Muncy, if we could get, and there is Arenado out there. If they can make a move, I'd rather just keep Mookie in right and play him at second base like once a week. I would also like to see both Mookie and Freddie sit a little bit. They're dying. They both, Freddie didn't hit for beans for the last few weeks of the season. Same with Mookie. Why not just rest him? rest of them, make sure they're sitting at least once every two, sometimes even once. Yeah, Muncy is a first baseman. We got a better one there. Yeah. Friedman, yeah, Justin Freeman better get Ohtani after punting last year's winner. Boy, you're not kidding. And, plus they didn't even get under the luxury tax. Yeah, Muncy would be first baseman, but we just don't have. We already have one. Long term, you just start looking at that. You go, oh, how bad that's hurt. Having to try to find a spot for Muncy. Maybe they do move Muncy. I don't know. I love Muncy. I really do. He's one of those guys that it amazes me. He came from really nowhere with the A's, spent all of 2017 in the minors, and then comes out. I was there when he debuted with the Dodgers in San Diego. Got himself a double, and really never looked back. It was great. It was really cool. So good to see. I'd like to see Muncy stick around somehow. I don't know how though. Maybe it is at second base. But Freddie's at first, and he's going to be another year older. He's got 4 more years of Freddie, about 9 more years of Mookie, something like that. Time to make some things happen. Muncy's going to be 33 next year. Freddie's going to be 34 by the end of the year, I think. Teams would give us good players for Muncy and throw in reliever. Yeah, no, I agree. Because it's a $14 million contract. That's a bargain for a guy that hits almost 40 home runs. Someone will take that. And I just want to see the infield defense get better. And to be honest, if Muncy goes to second, I don't know how much it makes it better, even if we get a guy like Chapman at third base. It will not be Miggy Rojas at short next year. It's probably going to be Lux. So there's no way he's going to be that good. Let's see, Kersh, Buehler, Yamamoto, Miller, Pepio, and Yarbrough. Yeah, Kersh retires. We could bring in another free agent arm around 10 to 20 million a year. Not a bad rotation. The arms at AAA are stacked. Yeah. I just think they need more. If you would have told me at the beginning of last year that the Dodgers would run out of starting pitching, I would have laughed in your face. Then again, I would also have laughed in your face if you told me Josh Sborz was going to close out the World Series. Good Lord. Dude had a 5.50 ERA during the season. He just got hot. And that part of that's probably a Bochy touch. Just the way he is. Are they? Yeah, I think they are. I think they're going to run Vargas back at second next year. Yeah, I do. That's all got to be part of the equation. But they also got to make some decisions to go, is Mookie going to play a lot of second base? If he is, then get Vargas and Bush in left field. Or put Vargas back at third. They got to just do something. But they have to make some decisions on some of those players. It was rough for Vargas. I mean, learning a new position, and he got a little overmatched in there. I think it was just too much for him. It'd be too much for a lot of players, It's too bad they couldn't have worked him at second the year before. Just man. And they also have Yorbit Vivas. He's if you saw Colton, think of Colton Wong. It's Yorbit Vivas, same build, just taller. And probably a better hitter right now. Wong's a free agent. So all these guys are free agents. There's a ton of free agents. We had that in that article we covered last week or a few days ago. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Obviously starting pitching. Let's throw some names out there. So Yamamoto, Burns, we've talked about. Glasnow. What would you give up for Glasnow? I'm giving up quite a bit because he looks fully recovered now from Tommy John. There is Snell, somebody like, Nola, Aaron Nola, free agent. It's money. Just freaking do it. My gosh. Dodgers They make $1 jillion off of every special night. The Icelandic people's night. They got something every night where they're just grifting off of us. Selling 1,000 shirts for that ethnicity, or whatever, for that country and all that, which is cool. But man, let's cash in some of that money. They're making a killing off of us, folks. They're making a killing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trading a lot for Glass now. Yeah, Hurt, Frasso, and Galiz. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Galiz, he might be special, but I think we got to make some moves. I think it's great it's a balance, but we can't keep all these prospects. We got a million righties, and we got a ton of catching prospects. Let's break the logjam for those guys, but also, let's get in the right mix. Of all of our minor league catchers, Galiz is probably the least of the top prospects. He's probably the best defensive catcher we've got. Even though Lorenzo is very underrated, he can throw pretty well, and he handles pitchers really well. So we're loaded at catcher. So I expect to see a catcher or two traded, and I expect to see like 3 or 4 pitchers traded. I think we're still building up on the infield, third base. We covered third. Shortstop's coming. I'm going to try to see if I can get something going on. I want to talk. There's 2 topics we need to talk about coming up soon. The Rule 5 draft, and then shortstop prospects. And then, again, I'm going to try to see. Steve Douglas and I are in contact. I think we'll try to. Maybe I'll try to see if I can get him to work the Rule 5 stuff with me, and do that one. We got to talk about that. Then they've got the shortstops, and there's a lot of good shortstops in the system. They're all lower. Still can't believe they just let Eddie Leonard go. Got just a couple bucks for him, bucket of balls. Guy's a pretty darn good ball player. He's having a nice season with Detroit, but can't keep them all. I just want to get something more than a bucket of balls for top 30 prospects. I think Leonard was supposed to go in that Rodriguez trade. That guy's also a free agent. I doubt we're going to be getting him. He would have been nice, that's for sure. And there's still talk of Lance Lynn maybe coming back. I'm not giving him $18 million. I talked with him, see if we want to negotiate something, maybe with some incentives, because I don't know if he's getting $18 million out there. I really don't know. I think he's getting 10. So I try to negotiate, say, hey, here, let's do a $10 million contract, and here's the incentives. And the incentives need to be that home run rate's got to come down. That just killed him. So, but also, the guy's getting older. Maybe he's just starting to lose a little something there. Maybe he needs more time in the prior lab. He came at the middle of the season, so they couldn't get everything together maybe. But if Lance Lynn starts Game 3 next year, it's over, right? Straight up. They need to be starting better guys. Pepio should have gotten a start. He should have got that start. They're probably, we don't want to put pressure on him. Just put the pressure on him, because now we had this playoffs series, and Pepio didn't even get a chance to get his feet wet in the playoffs. Like, gosh darn it. That's just, they blew that one. They should have at least given him an inning or something. Hey, Sal, they bring Lynn back. Dodgers aren't serious about winning. I'm kind of feeling that too. Because if I'm going in to the 2024 season and Lance Lynn is in my top 7 or 8 starting pitchers, I'm not happy. Now if they go, oh, he's insurance and all that type of stuff, but I don't want to fill. Casey and I spoke about this last year when they signed Peralta. It's just taking a spot away from a player. And so 2023 in a lot of ways was a season where winning was going to be a bonus. Winning, going deep in the playoffs would have been a bonus. But the Dodgers are always trying to win the World Series. Seth Lugo, maybe. That's a good guy just to have as depth guy. Start some, release some. But you sign these guys that clog up the roster. I don't. The only veterans I want are stars. don't go and bring in any more of these Haywards, Peraltas type guys. Bring in all-star caliber players if you're bringing in. The rest of them, make them your pro. You got the guys. They've got the depth. His expected numbers are bad. Yeah, but he gets results kind of. Yeah, now you also got to remember the Padre defense is really good, especially that infield defense. It's really good. And well, even right field, Tatis out there was good. What's his name? What's that clown? Grisham. He's pretty good. But their infield defense was really good. Even with Bogarts. It'll be even better next year with Kim at short. They'll have Manny at third, Kim at short, Cronenworth at second, and Bogarts at first. That's a pretty good. Forget first base, but the rest of that infield's really, really good defensively. So there's a good defense behind him. That helps. The Dodgers defense is not as good. I'd like to see it get better. I think that is, causes more pitches, right? Guy misses a ball by just a little bit. Tell you, man, defensively, I got to tell you, Corey looked good. Corey Seager looked really good in the World Series. That's the best I've ever seen him, it seems like. I thought for sure by now he'd already be moved to another position, but not yet. Not yet. He's got probably 3 or 4 more years at shortstop. So, but Gavin Lux, right? That's our guy. That's our shortstop. Let's see what he can do. And if he fails, well, then you got to go see what you're going to do. Make a move. Just start looking for a long-term thing. Let's see. Galaxy, Grove, Hurt, Vargas, Bush, DeLuca serve as the depth. Yes. And the IL replacements. Absolutely. Yeah. And there's more too, right? Let all those guys get them in there. It's just silly. In some way, it was a wasted season for Bush. He should have gotten a lot more playing. He should have had at least 300 at-bats at the major league level. Vargas had his chance, didn't quite work out. He's going to get another chance. Outman, of course, he did well. Had a couple really bad months and didn't do much in the playoffs, but really happy for James. But DeLuca had very few at-bats, but gosh, he did well. Before he got hurt, he was actually, he didn't have a ton of at-bats, but I thought he finished around 280, something like that. You can go get your replacements in the middle of the year. I didn't mind that. In fact, I really like getting Kike. I liked Rosario. I like, Joe Kelly, of course. I'd like Kike back, and I'd like Kelly back. I don't see Lux failing next year. I think so. I think he's gonna be hungry and hungry, motivated to perform. Yeah. Just make sure those yips are gone. That's all that matters. He's a good athlete. He's really fast. I know he's gonna recover. He should be just fine from his knee. I know he was itching to try to get back this year, which is good for him. I'm glad he wanted to do that. It wasn't gonna happen. But the guy could be, I think, Doug, I heard it on Doug say it. I actually listened to Doug. I'm trying not to listen. I'm trying not to steal ideas, but and I'll give credit where credit's due. Doug did say he sees Lux, and I agree with this, as a possible multiple All-Star. I don't see why not. I think so too. I think that's a really good call. Why not? And I can see Vargas that same way. I see Bush as an all-star type hitter. I see Bush being a 300 hitter with 25 to 30. You just got to play him. You got to find a spot for him. You just got to play him. Bite the dust, or bite the bullet at a couple positions, or one or two positions. You go, these 1 or 2 positions is dedicated to Bush and Vargas, DeLuca, and all, and let them battle it out. And if July rolls around and they're not performing, go get someone else, just like they did this year. Vargas didn't produce. They went out and they said, "Oh, let me go get Rosario and Hernandez." That was fine. I didn't have a problem with that. And Rosario probably will not be back. I kind of liked him, but he really fell off at the end of the year. Kind of sucks seeing him not get on the playoff roster. Didn't matter, obviously, because just didn't matter. He might have made the next roster, but starting pitching. I mean, the way I see it, obviously, I want 2 starters. I want 2 more legit starters to complement what we already have. Kershaw does not count in that mix. I'm not counting on him at all. Anything he gives is a bonus. Buehler, I'm half counting on. Miller, I'm counting on. Pepio, I'm counting on. And then give me, let's just say it's Yamamoto and Nola. Do you see Almonte and Vesia back next year? I think Vesia lost his. I don't think he has an option now. I think he lost it. Almonte. Right now I'm gonna say no. Vesia, I'm gonna say yes. But man, I would get what I can for those guys. I think they need to start fresh. We spoke about this earlier, 1 or 2 broadcasts back. They need some real lefties in that bullpen. It was none of those options are satisfactory going into next year, and they don't have any lefty starters either. They got their starter. Where they got Kershaw and Yarbrough is only options right now is lefty starters until we get down to Bruns. In the bull, they do have guys like John Rooney, who I'd like to see him get a shot. He's a big 6'5" lefty. Best pickoff move in the world. I think there needs to be some more changes in that bullpen in terms of that extra depth. Brewstar really came on strong. Phillips, those are two guys. Boom, done. Brazier, who knows? I'm not counting on a guy that's 36, 37 years old, but I'd like to get him back for another year. His market just went up, obviously, just like Chris Martin's did last year. There's pieces in there. Maybe one of those. I think Grove could be a really good reliever. I think Sheehan could be a really good reliever. So some of those guys are not going to make the rotation. Not all of them are going to get traded. So I'd like to fill in the bullpen with those guys, and then again make moves as you need to make them. But if you're going to trade for a reliever, man, just be careful. There's some of these guys they get, and I don't know. I know the Dodgers really don't value the bullpen in terms of holding on to players that long. So I don't know. That's why I wonder if Caleb has worn out his welcome yet. I don't know. He's a free agent after next year, I believe. I'm not positive though. You never know. Maybe he comes back. Really can finalize himself. He was so good 2020 when he got hurt. That was a big loss they recovered from. They had guys like Alex Wood step it up in the bullpen in the playoffs. I remember in 2018 I know he was all pissed off because he wasn't in the rotation for the playoffs and really stunk. He stunk in the World Series in the bullpen. But boy, in 2020, he sure came out firing. He was really good in the bullpen. I think he was just he learned. He grew up, a little growing up there. So that was part of the reason that he threw two solid innings in that game 6. Retired all 6 batters he faced. I think he struck out 3 or 4. I think let's see. You think Fergie would be stretched out more on most teams? Yeah, the Dodgers. I just think his pitch still. He needs to do better with his. He needs another pitch. Let's be honest, Dodger fans are spoiled. Yes. After 3rd months, it was clear the Dodgers were not going to the World Series with the team they had. I'm not disappointed in 2023. The team was overhyped. Yeah, okay. Still should have beat an 84-win team. I'd go. I would have taken a first-round win. Would have been fine with me. Let's see. I think we should trade for Tyler Marley. He had Tommy John this year. Oh yeah. But he's with the Twins, right? Yeah. I don't know. It depends on what, because we already got Buehler coming off of that. May's going to come back maybe in the middle of next year. I'm not counting on him at all, especially as a starter. Gonsolin won't be back. They're always going to go for some. You got to go for some reclamation, guys, just because it's the very low risk, high reward. I just like to see them be a little more generous with cutting guys, and letting guys go and just go. We're not going to wait. This whole let's hope that Blake Trinan can pitch one game at the end of the season for the playoffs. That's silly. He's not ready. He needs to be really ready. They try to pull that stuff. It's like, no, or like in 2022, let's get Gonsolin. He'll be ready, and he wasn't ready in the playoffs. He wasn't, he got lit up. They just need to stop that stuff. Find the guys that are healthy and go with the guys that are healthy. If guys rehab in time and they get all their work in, great. If not, so what? Cut them. Just let them go. Free up the roster spots for someone else. We're going to need roster spots. Hopefully they give Hunter Fiducia a spot. If they do, that's really good news. They'll need to give. I can't remember some of the other ones. But we'll be doing a thing on that. I got to make sure to steal from Dodgers Digest and True Blue LA. They always have good stuff on that. I'll grab some names and then we can go over them. I do think the Dodgers have enough guys that can blow off the roster where they shouldn't have to worry about who they protect. They shouldn't have to do what they did last year and losing guys like Noda for nothing, Jose Hernandez for nothing. Oh, okay. So, Molly's a free agent. Oh, that's good. That means they can. That means they can do that. Yeah, they can make good deal. I wonder if Fireheisen's going to be back this year for the Dodgers. He never got back this year. Maybe he'll be back. He's been a good one in the past with the Rays. Just a question: has the scouting team let down the organization the past 3 years in the postseason? 2021, it was all injuries. They were just broken. They ran out of players. I think what happens, because last year the Padres kind of pitched him backwards last year, right? They changed their whole approach to them, and they caught them like they weren't ready. They just weren't ready for that. I don't know if that's a scouting or preparation, but all their preparation was for one way, and all of a sudden the Padre pitchers pitched them different. It's a lack of adjustments. I think I'm going to put a lot of it on the players. I do put some of it on the coaching staff for not having them ready. I think there's a rigidity that is followed. This is all speculation, okay? There's a rigidity going, hey, there's this and that, and they're not leaving enough room for thought. And some guys, they don't want to think. But there's other guys that need to think a bit and be able to adapt. And I don't think they're allowing them to adapt. It's like, hey, here's the plan. Let's go with the plan. It worked all year, because nothing changes in the playoffs, right? Nothing changes in the playoffs. Let's see. Let's use some here. Okay. So nothing changes in the playoffs, but we know it does. I just think they're too rigid. And I look at the Rangers, okay? Their GM, Chris Young, guy played a lot of baseball. He was a good pitcher. I actually saw him take a no-hitter in the ninth inning one time. I was actually rooting for the Padres because I wanted to see a no-hitter. I've never seen a no-hitter live at the major league level. I've seen it at the little league and high school level, but that's it. Chris Young, right? And then Bruce Bochy. They got Mike Maddox. Mike Maddox used to pitch. I don't remember who some of their other guys are, but the Dodgers have they have a mixture. Of course, Mark Pryor was a great pitcher for a brief time, but their hitting coaches are not. None of them got to the major leagues, and their main guy Von Skoyak. I mean, he played at low. He wasn't even a good college player. He wasn't even a good high school player. You could look it up. He played at Cal State Bakersfield or something like that. Played at Cuesta College. I'm not even sure he played at Cuesta. I went to Cuesta for a year, or for a semester, but he was there for a bit and left. Let's see. If given runway, do you see Bush putting up Hayward-like numbers and able to man left field? I see him putting up way better numbers than Hayward. I like Hayward. He played some nice defense, but he's replaceable. But I got a feeling they're going to keep him. But yeah, I want Bush out there in left field. Just go with it. Just do it, folks. Or if they feel he's at third base, and put him at third. But you cannot sit Bush next year. You can't put him in the minors. It's either play him or trade him. It's only the right thing to do. Him and Vargas need to battle for at bats. So I'd like to see them leave. I'd like them to leave 800 at bats available for the young guys. For the Vargases, in total, Bush, Vargas, DeLuca, even Vivas. Let them battle for those 800 plate appearances. Then you can fill in the rest with the Kikes and the Taylors and stuff. But Peraltas and Haywards, we don't need that. It didn't work. It was nice during the season. All good stories, real good guys, but it didn't work. The team was even worse than the dead team of 2022 that didn't seem to give a crap that they were losing in a game 4. This team played scared. They looked scared. They look defeated. They look defeated right away, and I understand that. That's just part of the game. Getting blown out like that, and all of a sudden, what do you do? But it was just one game. And Miller came in, didn't do what he wanted. But I think they putting him in that spot was. I don't think that'll happen again with Miller. Yeah. Thank you. Make sure to like the video. Yeah, I really appreciate that. The chats and comments and going back and taking a look at the other videos and sharing them, I'd really appreciate that. I thought I was at 1,000 briefly. Gosh darn it, now I'm down to 997, so I need to get some more followers. Jumping late may have hit this. Where do you already see Vargas fitting in next year? I think they got to try him at second base again. It's just the question, Jason, is what are they doing with Mookie next year? Are they playing him in left? Left, no. Are they playing him at right or playing him at second? Both. I think if Vargas needs to, he needs another full shot. Or do you go, well, no, we're going to try him at third. I think he's a better second baseman than third baseman. And I think he's probably comfortable at second. Even in the minors, when he was down there, he was playing mostly second base. Bush was playing a lot of third. So if they go with that next year, I'm willing to give it a shot. If you got some pitching that can carry you, and then, and maybe a Shohei at DH or something like that, or JD comes back, or Muncy goes to DH, something like that. I think that can carry. I think Lux is going to provide plenty of. I think he's going to be a good offensive player. I think he's going to hit 280 to 300. He's going to hit 15 home runs. I think might get some stolen bases in there. I just hope he feels well. I just hope he's comfortable and ready to play shortstop full time. I think they just hand the position over to him. Let Miggy Rojas teach him, lead him. I think Mookie probably could play third base with his arm. That's it. There you go. Solves everything, doesn't it? Um, One of the reasons I do like Mookie at second is it does free up an outfield spot for another bat. And, then we got a second baseman that can hit 35 home runs. We got to throw another right fielder in there. But I don't want that bat to be Hayward. I mean, if he's back, he's fine, but I just don't want to waste the spots. I think they really made some mistakes last year by doing that. And again, we called it out. Casey and I called it out. We were concerned about that. At the same time, we knew they were trying to win, and but we raised the flag in our podcast last. You could look it up whenever Peralta signed. It was like January, February. Yeah, we it was just we thought this year would be more. They did a good job of bringing the rookies in, but they needed to do more. Again, they had a huge lead. Could have done more with Bush, but they chose not to. And I know they're trying to get rid of the playoffs, but maybe Michael Bush could have been a guy in the playoffs instead of Colton Wong. I don't know. But they like the veterans. They always default to the veterans at the end of the day, and it really disturbs me. And I look. So I'm going to do a little comparison, right? 2020 Dodgers that won one of the weirdest World Series, weirdest seasons ever. It was rough. It was the Rangers. They came from somewhere else within the last year or two. Most of, they got Young and Heim, maybe Tavares, but the rest are not Rangers. I think of probably on that team, I'm going to say 5 or 6 are from the Ranger organization. I mean, it's cool, but it's kind of like when the Lakers won in 2020. It's like, oh, okay, it's just a bunch of guys from other teams. Outfield is stacked in New York. Yes, it is. Playing Mookie at second base, probably the big brain move. Yeah, probably is. I was talking to DePaul about that, man. When I talked to Josue about that, it's like, keep Mookie at second, man. Get that right field position. He might even have a stronger arm than Mookie. Yes. He got clocked to 102 miles an hour. That was with a incoming throw, coming off the grounder to throw. Out of the young arms on the 40, who are you most comfortable moving given the backfield? Yes. Ooh. Man, I'm just gonna say I think they should keep Miller and Pepio, and then I think Sheehan probably after that, right in there. But they Grove and that leaves Grove, Stone, and Hurt. We only saw Hurt in that one game, but boy, did we see Kyle Hurt in that one game. I want to see more of that. I want to see more of Kyle Hurt. I'm not coming. I mean, we're gonna hate anyway. Any of them that move, it's gonna be somebody's gonna. Oh my gosh, the Dodgers traded Gavin Stone. He's an all-star now. And we're gonna hear all that because I think some of these guys are gonna be stars, or future stars. It's just not. It might not be for a while, and it's time to win. It's so loaded. The right-handers are just keep coming. Man, a name to keep an eye on, and he really blossomed this last year. Is Jermaine Rosario. He really made a lot of progress. He stopped walking a bunch of guys. Time to get rid of Vesey and bring up Hurt. Yeah, I wish Hurt if he was a lefty, I would have done it a long time ago. But yeah, I would rather have a guy with Kyle Hurt's stuff with 5 pitches than a guy with 1.5 pitches. I don't care which side they throw from. They need to move on from the journeyman guys, the guys that are going, well, there might be major leaguers, they might not be, but let's just keep him around just in case. It's that Scott Alexander thought of, well, we'll keep Scott Alexander around because we think he's going to be good. They keep doing that. Time to move on for some of these guys. It's time to go, are you good or not? And if you're not ready, then you should be in the minors. Instead of this, back and forth stuff because, well, he sucks, so we got to send him to the minors so he's good for a while. Then he starts going backwards. It's but I'd like to also see Vesey. If he develops another pitch, that's going to help him a lot. I think he needs to. I think the rising fastball is starting to go kind of away. He needs to get some more two-seam action going. The sinker is starting to return because batters are starting to get used to those high fastballs. So it's all these trends that go, okay, everyone's going to attack high in the zone. So what do batters do? They start adjusting to high in the zone. So now where's the weak spot? Oh, now it's back down low. Where's that two-seam? Because I've seen Vesia's stuff on, when he first got traded to the Dodgers, he was showing a video. His ball moves a lot. So if you get that two-seam going with him, same with Caleb, they need more pitches. And, Caleb's curve, man, they just keep high fastball, high fastball, high fastball. I think that's a pitch that's going to go out of fashion a little bit. And they're going to have to work low in the zone again. The Dodgers should be in on that. You'd think they'd be first on that, but I don't know if they are. I don't know. I wonder, some would say maybe they're arrogant, maybe they're complacent. There's no risk for them. There's no risk of being fired. Who's that? Michael, who are you talking about? You talking about Molly or are you talking about Buehler? Michael, let me know. Molly, okay. But is he that good? Is he going to be a guy that we can count on to be a 1 or 2? I think the Dodgers really need to be focusing on 1 and 2s right now. Yeah, hoping May is back. I completely see him as a reliever. I think Dustin May's mechanics will cause another Tommy John surgery if he keeps starting. It's just too much strain on his arm. There's so much going on there. Just way too much. I'm no expert. But dang, it's just so much movement. He's a walking Tommy John. He's got to fix it. Really, he does need to fix his mechanics. I know Buehler's been working on fixing his, so he doesn't have it again. But Buehler, at least, he's 2015, so he lasted 6.5 years before he had to get it again. And if he would have had it right away, it would have been better. Yeah, it's a lot of talent there. He saw through the flashes of number 2 stuff. We should go after him and eats innings. Yeah. I mean, they're going to need that. You got to line up with a lot of candidates of starters. I think you got to come in with a veteran rotation, at least with some guys that are vets, and then leave some room for the rooks. I consider Bobby Miller and Pepio, they should be part of that rotation, so they're kind of halfway, kind of rookie still. They're not, but not anymore. But they're young. Give them 2 spots. Buehler a spot, and then fill the rest in, with the Yamamotos, Nolas, Amali, let these guys battle. Let them all battle. There's, put it this way, nobody in the starting rotation performed well enough in the playoffs to deserve an automatic spot for next year. I said it. None of them. They shall be battling. And I'm a big fan of some of these guys, but let them battle. There's a lot of talent. I think Dustin could be an elite closer. Think about it. No one has nastier stuff than Dustin May. Just ask Manny Machado. We've seen the highlight of that ball moving like 18 inches. Just keep running in on him. It's amazing what he can do. So and I think Gonsolin comes back as a reliever also. When he comes back, he won't be back next year. And with any of these guys coming back, you can't count. I'm going to count. I'm counting on Buehler halfway, and I'm counting on May as a bullpen guy, maybe in July. And no Gonsolin. I'm not counting on Kershaw at all. Anything he gives us is a bonus. I'd like to see, I think it's 56 strikeouts he needs. I thought it was 65, but 56 or 65. He needs those strikeouts. Get his 3,000. He can retire. But he wishes he's with the Rangers right now. Also, hey, I'm going to say it. I don't think the Rangers are going to be coming back. I don't even think they're going to win the division next year. They're a nice team. They're not that. They got hot. But people are like, well, Scherzer will be back next year. No, he won't. He's just going to be hurt again. DeGrom won't be back. He's going to be back at the end, probably more in 2025. And that's after Tommy John. And Jordan Montgomery's going to be gone. Eovaldi is another year older. He's already had 2 Tommy Johns. Semion's another year older. He has some good foundation, though. Third baseman, catcher. There are good spots there. They're left fielder with Carter. Garcia, maybe, I mean, obviously some talent, but it's a team that got hot. And how many times this happened now? Braves, the ones that got hot in 2021. Nationals in 2019. The Giants, almost all the times they won, they got hot at the right time. Yeah, I mean, even the 2011 Cardinals, these were not, it's not always the best team. We've seen that too many times. You got to get hot. But you got to have the right character. You got to have the right group to make that type of stuff happen. You got to have it, like was mentioned earlier, a Jock Peterson. Jock Peterson doesn't care about the moment. Hey, Michael. All right, man. Hey, have a good one, man. Thank you again. Appreciate you. Jock Peterson just comes up. He doesn't care. You have millions and millions of eyes on him with a gun to his head. All right, go Dodgers. Gun to his head, and he's still going to be casual up there. He's going to go and hit. He's just going to go hit. And I think Kike's kind of like that now, too. He's getting better at that. I believe in Kike for the playoffs. I think that's what he need that guy, and that's what we need. But that's not Mookie, and that's not Freddie. But they need someone like that, and I think Ohtani's like that. The light shined the brightest on him at the WBC. That was his chance, and boy, when he hit over 400 and pitched, and come on, he didn't melt. So think about that. Let's see. Anything else? Friedman's on the clock. I know it's always Friedman. He represents the team, right? Brandon Gomes makes a lot. He does a lot of the stuff, doing a lot of the details. Nothing happens without Friedman. President of Baseball Operations. He's making sure that's all working well. I have a ton of respect for him. I have a ton of respect for all the coaching staff. Dave Roberts, Ben Skoik, all of them. But they all got to be culpable. I mean, at work, if things don't go well, I'm part of leadership. I take it hard. I look for what did I do wrong? What can I do better? What do I need to do better to make the team better? I have to look at it that way. And I expect those guys to look at it that way. So I know it's a completely different thing, but when you're a leader, you own it. Go look at Jocko Willink's 12 Principles of Leadership. And they got to own it. And that's part of leadership. And that, you want the respect of your team. And you got to respect your team too. But all of them. And you got to give the young guys a shot. You can't just rely on your favorites. Got to go, your guys, right, Doc? Got to go with Justin. Got to go with Peralta. Are they any good? No, but we got to go with my guys. Just a weird thing. So I don't want Doc having any more toys like that. None. No more Peraltas. No more Haywards. No more guys that can't produce just because they used to be good or a good attitude. Give me a guy that's still got some ability left, and has got a chip on his shoulder. I bet Tommy Pham would really like to get a world championship. Let's put it that way. All right. I think I'm going to end it. I appreciate everybody. I'm going to try to figure out I got to figure out when I got to look at the calendar to go, okay, when's free agency, qualifying offers. I'm not, I'll probably do a brief thing once the qualifying offers are announced. Any breaking news, of course, we'll get on to talk about it. And then we got to do the Rule 5. To me, that's the most important one. I just got to find the right time to do it. So we'll do it, within like 2 or 3 days of when it's going to happen. I hope like the weekend before when it would happen. And then we still got to get back to the shortstops. All right. Yep. Good night, Sal. All right, everyone. I will talk to you later. Please, again, spread the word. Let's get this up to 1,000 followers. Once I get up to a solid over 1,000, I'll do I'm trying to figure out a giveaway. So I appreciate y'all. And it'll only be people that do the giveaway. There'll be people that show up for one of these live things probably. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. I will talk to you. God bless and go Dodgers.